Breakdowns.
Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. We are on episode, that's why I have that, 122. And first of all, I'm going to start this by correcting. I either said the band name wrong or I didn't say it wrong. So that's what I want to get out of the way. So I need to know if I need to apologize. But I said Dogma. Now, obviously, it is missing the O, DGMA. So let's get that cleared up first.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. Nice.
Doesn't matter. We dropped the O out of necessity.
So I was thinking if that was the case, like the people replaced like U's with like V's or something like that for like searchability and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what it was, because it was Dogma for a long time, like
2014, I think.
14, wow. 15, yeah, a long time. And search algorithm was all fucked. So we were like, we got to do a name change. What do we do? Just drop the O.
It's honestly like they're like the most simple like ways to do things, but it helps so much, especially like if you have other stuff like obviously like what Dogma is, and then like the movie or whatever. So you have stuff like
was a big one,
and then I'm sure was there like other bands that had the
yeah it was another band called Dogma, and then this Japanese band called the Gazette. They have a song called Dogma, so you'd like search our stuff and it just like wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
because it was like way down
and stuff too called Dogma. So it was just like we were just buried away for the longest time.
Yeah. Have you seen a notable difference like when you drop?
Oh yeah, 100%. We have less. Well, our Instagram has picked up quite a bit, but we definitely have less followers on Facebook. But the interaction is better, because we like started a new page, and it's like less followers, but I think because people can find us easier, it's like a lot cooler.
Yeah, it wouldn't let us change the actual page that we had. I think we actually had to like recreate. Yeah,
that sucks.
Just for one letter.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, that's kind of weird, because I've seen I don't know if you've seen this happen, when you like follow a band for a while, and then the band breaks up or whatever, and then all of a sudden you see like a random band that starts popping up on your feed, and you're like, I've never added this band, but it's just they take over the page.
Well, a lot of times people will do that out of spite too, like if they get kicked out or like somebody is like the owner of the page, they've taken over it and then like blast the old band too. I've seen that before, but it wouldn't let us change it. I don't know if we did too many edits on it at one point, or
it's like
well, we had in like 2013 I had a different project, and I had the page set up under a different name. Yeah, so then when me and Chris and our old people started the project, it was like we took that page and changed the name. So I think it was because like we had changed the name once before on the page already. Yeah, I was like, you can't do it again. But I mean, it's worked out better, and like Facebook isn't really like a huge.
Yeah, no, it worked out a little bit better for the Facebook at least. I mean, Instagram we changed that pretty easily, and the transition with that was pretty seamless.
Yeah.
But yeah, Facebook, for whatever reason, they were just like, nah, you can't change the name. So we just started a new page, and it's gone a lot better. Like you said, the interaction. We've actually gotten people that actually comment on the stuff and like are interacting a little bit more. But yeah, it's been better. Yeah, so
okay, so either or. If they say Dogma or DGMA, like you're gonna respond either way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's like we'll see like people that we've worked with for a long time, Dogma, and then like new people is like, oh, DGMA, and I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm partial to DGMA because it like rolls off the tongue, and there's some lyrics in there and some songs, but it really doesn't matter.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, because I remember saying it, and then I think I watched the interview y'all did with Alex, and then like it starts out with like DGMA. I was like, fuck, I fucked up. And then I went. It's funny because I went and looked back at the video that I put out, and like at the end, the auto captions fucking say dog mode. Like I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I just messed up all over. But okay, cool. So so in the beginning, y'all two were in another project together.
Them two.
Me and Chris. Yeah, me and Chris have been playing music together since 2011.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 2011, 12 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, played. I'm pretty sure it was 2011 because I remember October 20th, 2011, I think was like the first show I had ever played, and it was with Chris's old band. and I replaced their vocal. I was like a sophomore in high school, but me and Chris just we vibe and then started writing, stopped writing, got new people. Now we are DGMA.
Okay. Yeah, like one thing that always like comes up in like these talks is band chemistry. So like the fact that you guys have been working together for like as long as you have like makes sense, because like once you find like someone's like, okay, we understand each other, like maybe we find people that don't like get it, but like if we stick together, like we can do something. Like definitely I've run into those cases. But so you guys start playing together or never stopped really, you know what I mean, throughout the years, like have kind of kept
pretty much
creatively, and then other people start joining. What's the order next? Like
Reagan came in next, because so we had originally it was me and me and one guy, and then my friend Jonathan joined, and me and Jonathan started writing music. Very shortly after that, Chris came in to play drums. And then Jonathan left, so Reagan joined up, and then after that, me and Nico met over COVID, and we were working on a different project for him, and we just vibed. We were writing together. We made a deal that was like, okay, for every 2 songs that we write for this project, we're gonna write one for Dogma.
Okay.
And then one day we wrote a track, and he was like, "Man, I want to play this."
Yeah, it's fun. Like the music's just fun, so it's it's not really like anything that's like, I guess, like taxing for you, like physically or like mentally, like playing wise. But it's just a lot of fun, and the music's fun to write. So yeah.
No, that'll do it. Like if something's entertaining, like I think growing up I realized the distinction. I used to like really be snobby about like stuff had to be complicated or else I can't like it. And then like as I got older I was like, dude, simple shit is fun as fuck, and it's equally as hard to technically like write, to write something good that's simple, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I started admiring like that talent of it, and just being like, dude, at the end of the day, like if you're having fun, like you're gonna fucking keep writing. So like that's the important part of it. But your first EP, which is Mute Message, is definitely where like again, like this is I'm gonna have to thank Alex for a lot, because I'm cheating a little bit, but I know that's like where the transition happened, because like one of the songs written on there was kind of like, hey, it was a little different, and that's kind of the turning point like for the band's like style.
Yeah, so we had like, I don't know, like six songs that were like super beat downy.
Yeah, I believe it was like 6 songs total that were real beat downy, and then I believe Pretty kind of came at the very end of it. That kind of was the shift and turning point for the sound that we eventually became into.
What out of that song can you point to anything like particularly that was like, you know what, let's do this instead?
Oh man, I just got chills thinking about it. That's wild. It was a long time ago. Yeah. That was a lot of alcohol ago. It was so we had like 6 or 7 songs. Some of them were kind of iffy. We liked 4 of them, and it was like we need another song. And me and Jonathan had always like talked about like nu metal and like Linkin Park and Korn, and he was super into Seven Dust, and there's one other like old butt rock band. I can't remember the name of them right now, but yeah, he threw that riff together, and then I came up with the chorus melody like on the spot. He was like, "Yo, listen to this." He played the riff, and I was like, "Oh fuck, okay." Had the melody, and then wrote the verses, and it was all just like the super super fast thing. And I was when we were mixing it, I was like, damn, I think this is the vibe. So like we started like kind of strategizing how we wanted to do things, and it was always coming back to like like we listened to this stuff when we were kids, and like video game soundtracks, and like specifically like ATV Off-Road Fury soundtracks and shit, like, and we were just like, okay, this is the vibe. That it didn't end up working out with Jonathan, but it definitely was something that like stuck with me. And when me and Nico started writing together, it really like pushed me creatively quite a bit, and it was just cool. We just like bouncy riffs, bouncy riffs and good melodies type shit.
Mm-hmm. What type of stuff were you writing for your project? Is it completely like different than this?
Well, so that other project, it was that Dead Mouth project. I was in that band for a little bit. We wrote stuff for that, and like that stuff is like, it's kind of similar. It's like got more of like a Cane Hill vibe, I guess.
Okay.
But it like took a lot of elements of the stuff that like Zach was like wanting to do for Dogma stuff or DGMA stuff, and like some of the elements that he was doing for that stuff, we kind of like pulled from there. We're doing it in the Dead Mouth stuff, like trap hats, and like we using the guitars as like samples, like Linkin Park, rather than like playing a lead like as a lead. You know what I mean? We would take the part and like play it how we would want it to sound as if it was a sample, and then kind of like cut it to make it sound more like a sample, and then recycle it or whatever. And so we were doing that, and just kind of like fell all together, and kind of just been going from there. Yeah. So I do hear that like a lot in the newer music, is the use of like samples, and even like the I mentioned like the DJ scratch and stuff like that. Like who it takes like point on that? No, me.
Okay, so that's the elements that you were bringing in back to your band, but you primarily like do that now.
Yeah. So I mean, in a lot of the projects, except for a few ones beforehand, like I'm like one of the main writers and stuff, and like this one is just slowly kind of like taking this thing where they've kind of let me just kind of like do whatever, and then we kind of congregate, we get back together and we start making stuff up from there. So like I'll build out like full songs for the most part, and like the DJ scratches, to be honest, I mean the DJ scratch, so like I sampled something from was it against Splice. I sampled something from Splice that had that, and then we were trying to find like an actual turntablist to like do it, because like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And we took months trying to find somebody. We would always get people, and they would kind of like fall off here and there, or they would get too busy because they were doing stuff like whenever you're like a real like a DJ that's out there like promoting events at the same time while you're turntabling.
They were rarer than I thought. I was like, it shouldn't be a problem, and then I kept posting stuff
in Austin, right?
Every now and then you get a few bites, and then they would just disappear, or like you said, like too busy. And so I was like, oh wow, this is actually going to be complicated. But I think you found somebody, right?
No, I did. I found somebody. Yo, shout out to Fiverr.
You found all of them?
I found this dude. I went on Fiverr, looked up DJ scratches, found this dude who was sick, super sick.
About that?
No, straight off of Fiverr. I sent him the track. I sent him the vocal a cappella, and I sent him the reference scratches. And like literally half a day later, he sent it back, and it was like perfect. We like moved some stuff around, cut some stuff up here and there, and like produced it a little bit. But yeah, it's just Fiverr. We've done it before. We had another track that had scratches on it. It's just another random dude off Fiverr. Yeah, fuck it. It's cheap, and they're cool, so
whatever. This next section of the podcast brought to you by Fiverr. That's really like cool. Like it's just at the end of the day, it's just handling what resources do you have.
Yeah,
like, and just
100%.
Like, hey, I'm gonna take this and I can make something with it. Like who cares like where you got it from?
Yeah, exactly.
Again, like that story makes it even worse. It's like it sounds good. Like you still went in and like worked it into the song to make sense the way you wanted to. Like you still like were able to do that, but. Again, like nobody in the band does it, but you still want that element in there. You figure it out. Like,
maybe one day we'll have an actual DJ. Yeah, maybe one day.
No, that'd be sick. I mean, honestly, that's what we want. We got enough room for it. And our setup, it would be sick to have somebody be able to do that production stuff live. You know what I mean? Like run some samples or do like little extra shits here and there.
That shit is cool to see live. There's a band here called Cutthroat, and they have a member who does the sampling and everything like live, and I'm like, that's so fucking sick. Like it just adds like a lot more to it, because like when I was in a band, we had a lot of production stuff, but it was all like backtrack, because like none of us knew how to do that. So again,
I feel like it would be a better like stage presence too. I mean, it's more of a show that way too, but I don't know. Yeah, we do have room for it. So, yeah.
In search of.
Shit.
You need like a tenor for that one, man. They gotta stick around. They gotta stick around. They can't just send it. The element of a live show is just like incredible to that, because one thing that I noticed that, like, for example, he does is like they'll have like the typical sample that plays like in the track, like the recorded track or whatever, but live he can adapt it on the spot to whatever's going. Like, is the vocalist like talking for a little bit longer, then it keeps like going and like adding like extra stuff during it. So that's that element of, it's still a live show, you know. As far as like the samples go and stuff like that, so you can like improvise like live, which is the cool part about playing live, is that every one of those shows is like different, you know, based on crowd, based on like whatever someone's doing.
We're pretty married to the click right now, and we've done some stuff to make things like a little bit more fluid live. Like we're on a whole Ableton set now, so we can like rearrange stuff, and it's pretty easy for like me or Nico to go and like add like interlude tracks or build like intros and stuff like that, so we can keep it a little bit fluid. But it's still very much married to the click, which is cool. I think eventually it would be cool for us to do something like this band called Avoid. What they do, they don't play to a click. And they have people like firing off samples like in time, like with how they're playing the song. Yeah. So their drummer can just be like, "Fuck, I want to speed it up," and just go like fast, and like their dude will just like play with it and like hit the samples at the right spots still and everything, which is.
That's yeah. So I was like, so when I played in a band, I was so against clicks before I ever like mess with clicks or like or backtracks or anything like that. I was like, no, it's just, we gotta do it raw. And then I would look back at live videos and I'm like, why is this song so fucking fast like right now? Like, no wonder I'm out of breath every fucking set that we do. Like,
Speed it up.
It was always like super fast. Yeah. And then we started playing like to a click, and I'm like, and then I was in my head, I was like, this feels slow, but it's the proper tempo. You know what I mean? Like everything's getting played correct. You hear it live, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the way we wrote the song, like to go that fast. But someone would like, you know, mess up here or this and that, and it would just like go off the rails. But with the clicks, like I was like, we were all just talking to the drummers, like, you're the only one that has to not mess up here, and we're all good. Like, as long as stressful though, like it's a stressful job, but it does. It depends. Like, I've seen both sides of it, but I personally, like, when we started doing it, like, preferred it so much. You every like set, you have to like plan out like, oh, do we have enough time to do this set? If it's to a click, it's like, you know exactly like what what song's getting played when, how much time you have in the middle. You can rehearse your little like middle speech parts if you're doing anything, or introductions, whatever. You know what's coming next. It relieves a lot of stress, I think, in the guessing game of playing.
That's definitely true.
Yeah,
because it's like set amounts, and like we can adjust things here and there when we like add new songs, but add new stuff, take it away, and hit the click. I think there's like a psychosomatic thing too, where when you rehearse a song enough times, like when you start to play it, it feels slower than it really is.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing too, which is cool. We're starting to write faster stuff, so
that's the next step. Right into next intro. Hopefully the dude on Fiverr can keep up, man.
I don't know. We'll probably go back to that same guy again.
Honestly, yeah. No, he does fucking fast turnaround, and that dude killed it. Like little minor production things, like he was saying, chop it up to kind of get it fit a little bit better. But he just did it, and it was like he sent like 2 takes.
It was 2. He sent 2 tracks, and it was like back and forth. He did like one track was like scratches with the vocal acapella, which was like a specific thing I wanted, and then the other one he just used like his own like scratch records.
Oh, okay.
And like just did it sick.
One take, just
that's it.
Yeah. We just had stuff to pick. It was cool. It was really neat. I enjoyed it a lot.
In a year, this dude from Fiverr is going to be the 5th member of this band.
I think he lives in like Belgium or something.
Yeah, he's like in Belgium or some shit. It's crazy.
Hell yeah,
internet.
You need to out of the country. So that you mentioned like you guys messing with a little bit of the production like with that sample. Do you guys typically do most of that like work in house, like as far as like
all of it?
All of it.
All of it.
What does all of it entail?
All of it. So Nico has a writing template that I built, and he'll write songs in it, and then he'll do production stuff like samples, synths, yada yada, and then he'll send it over to me, and I'll either write vocals or rework it a little bit. And then sometimes Reagan will come in and help with some top line stuff. And then we will finalize structure. And then Nico comes to my place. We track it. I do all the edits. And then I mix, and sometimes I'll have somebody else master. Like the last track we had Austin Coop master. He also mastered Raw with me. But the standard practice is like, we'll send stuff back and forth. And then it goes to them for some finishing touches, and then comes back to me, and then do the mix and master.
So make my neighbors mad.
Yeah, it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah, my neighbors probably fucking hate me.
Yeah. That's so. Like I mentioned, like DJ who lives here with me before we lived in an apartment. But anytime like he would record an artist, like I would know that artist like all their songs, and they're like, I haven't put this out yet. And I was like, bro, like I've been hearing this through the wall, like nonstop. It's like, how do you know the words? It's like, because
I've heard it a million fucking times.
Zach is loud, and I live in a really small apartment, and so like we'll do vocals at my place sometimes, and I'm just like, oh no, like I'm always just like, yeah, it'll be no big deal, and then whenever we start doing it, I was like, oh crap,
it's like, a lot louder than
how fucking loud this is. Yeah, and it's like I could hear it like just it's going through. Like if there's like any DoorDash guy, he's probably thinking I'm hurting somebody in my apartment.
Yeah, that shit's funny. But yeah, we used to deal with that a lot. We used to be paranoid. Like we'd tell the neighbors, like if you, like before you complain to somebody, just call us.
Yeah,
we'll stop.
I did give them that whenever I first moved in, and my neighbors are pretty cool. So I actually think that the people that are like next to me are like overnight nurses or something. So they're never there.
As long as they're not there.
Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah, it works out. But like being able to do that stuff in house is such like a major benefit, like to any band. Like I feel like most bands need to like have that like available. Yeah. Like you need to be able to do a lot of this stuff like on your own.
Agreed.
To be able to keep doing it, because if not, like it gets so expensive.
I was gonna say it saves money for us to do like
quite a bit
stuff to to budget.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to be the most meticulous about your own stuff. You know what I mean? Like, as much as you find somebody, depending, like, I think, like, I get that a little more. No?
Here and there.
23.
Go on record. No. I mean, we're really meticulous about our stuff when we go after it. Some stuff kind of gets left behind though, because like you think about it too. Is like there's a lot of other stuff that we have to do since we do everything ourselves. Like, all the business stuff, all the fucking social media stuff too. You end up losing certain things through going through all that stuff. True. So, like, I mean, it's sick because I mean we do a lot of stuff by ourselves, and I mean I think that's great and everything. It's just like. I personally, I think it would be sick for us to go to another producer. We've talked about it here and there.
It's on the table for sure. It definitely started out of necessity because Jonathan, who I like originally started writing with, did the production, the mixing, the mastering. He was a producer and like he worked with other bands and did this, did that. He had a studio that we would go to that was really nice in Austin. And when he left, I was like, I'm poor, basically an alcoholic.
Basically.
My job doesn't pay me shit. It's like, I can't afford to, like, there was a point where it was like, I was about to be homeless and like living out of my car because some situations I was like, I can't fucking, like, I can't pay for other people to do this. I was like, I just need to learn how to do it. Mm-hmm. And it started like that. And then it turned into, oh, I'm good at this. I'm going to just like, I can make sure things are, the way that I want. I would like to go to another producer though. Like I do want someone else to produce us and see like what that would look like and how that would go. Because we all wear multiple hats.
That like helps you hit different angles of like creativity. Like you get squeezed out of stuff that like you normally wouldn't think about before. I mean, that's my experience with doing that.
Same.
Getting pushed out of your comfort zone a little bit. Like even like in a band, because I've seen people go from like being an individual artist and then they get a band and it's like, oh, okay, the band's helping broaden like perspectives and stuff like that. But going to a producer is that outside eye from someone who's not like in the band, who's not. I mean, you don't realize like sometimes when you get used to like you're writing the same song. I've had like that pointed out to me where I've like someone like I wrote something. I'm like, this is so good, and then my friend's like, that's the same thing you wrote like on this other thing. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, my old band, I recorded a whole demo before, and we were like gonna actually. It became the demo because we decided to go and have it produced as somebody else, and then I was like, afterwards, it just became like a whole new thing. I was like, now when I listen back to that, I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks. So like, I'd like to see, you know, how it would work with this band, because I feel like, you know, you kind of hone into this like at home kind of thing, and then you kind of like just kind of start doing the same stuff over and over again, and like that's what I'm saying, like you get to hit like different angles of creativity that, you know, never knew were there. So that's what I would look forward to with that.
I think the important part of it is finding someone like that you trust with your music. That was my issue.
Just blow up in your face.
So my first experience wasn't the fact that the producer was bad. It's the fact that I wasn't going into the experience like open to the idea of somebody producing. I was, again, a long time ago, but I was basically in the era of just record the shit like the way it's done, like, and it's fine. However, like some of the ideas, because they would throw like some ideas at us, and I was just like, no, but looking back, I'm like, some of these are really good. Like, I wish I would have like taken, like the song could have taken like a different life, but it was very much like mistrust and like ego, like a little bit, you know. It's like there's no way the song's gonna get any better than what we did, you know. But finding like someone dope who you're like, oh, I would love to see what they can add to this, and again, having to be open to like, okay, like if they add something, you know, I have to be able to, not necessarily, I don't have to take it, you know, but at least be open and be like, let me hear this out and see how it goes. And it's cool. Again, like everybody writes so different, you know, and then just having somebody take a look and like, what if you do this? And like,
I actually had a dude take my guitar out of my hands and like play a different chorus, and at the time it really like pissed me off. Fucking asshole.
Hold on, how was the snatch?
Just give me that. I still love that chorus. I was like, I'm really glad that we decided to change that. He decided to change it for me. There's got to be a strategy to doing it. You can't just like whip the guitar out. Like, hold on. There could have been a better way to go about it, but I was like, fair enough.
Like, hey, but what if we try this? Like, nah, give me that shit. I think that's what my experience was. It's just like I came in one day and like this whole new part was written, and it did completely change like that part of the song, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like we didn't discuss this or whatever. Like I just felt violated. It was I think fun, but I've seen a bunch of collaborations with like people work out in the best way. It would be like, oh, these songs totally took on like a new life, and they're better for it. But no, that being the next step is super exciting. That would be like. Do you guys have like a few people you've been eyeing?
Yeah. We have some people in mind. We're still me and Nico go back and forth on who specifically we want to go to.
I know who I want to go to. I've been saying it nonstop. I would like to go to Josh Schroeder. He does all sorts of bands like Plotting You, fucking Tala, just a bunch of different projects. I think he did Signs of the Swarm stuff too. Oh, wow. It's just that dude just thinks outside the box, man. Like watching the shit that he does, like whenever he's recording people and like little shits that he gets them to do because it ends up fucking nailing the take the right way or whatever, just to get like that weird sound or whatever. I think there was a video. He was recording Signs of the Swarm, actually, the vocalist, and they found that, like, with him sitting down in his fucking chair with his feet up, he was able to hit the way that they wanted the gutturals and shit to sound easier that way. So that's wild. They had a fucking thing, and he's sitting in front of this TV, and he's got his fucking blanket and his legs up like a stirrup, like he's at the gynecologist or some shit. But he's fucking nailing these takes, and, like, I mean, who fucking is gonna think about that random ass shit? But this dude got him in there. And he's fucking nailing these takes, and he's doing that with him. And you know, he records with like weird things to get weird noises, and he just pulls stuff out of people that like, you know, just like seeing the records that he does with people, like all the weird stuff that they end up like continuing on, like they usually get from that first record with him. So it'd be really cool to like he was saying, like have a different creative avenue to like do stuff, because like we're pretty creative and we do like weird things, but he's like, he takes it like a whole another step above from there, and it's really cool to see like how he gets hands on with people and like makes them work
Yeah. Which I think is a big like part of like being a producer. Where like some of my friends that I've talked to about that, that's one of the things that I asked. Like I was like, you have like, how do you get that? Because like, I think one of the questions I asked was like, how do you like write a song without putting all of yourself in it and writing what's best for like that particular artist, you know? And there's so many like steps to taking it, but someone, you know, at that level, again, they continue to work at it, but it's cool to see like, oh, let's just try some weird shit. And I think most of the time it's just that. It's like, just try some weird shit. Like, exactly. You know, I wonder how that conversation went down. Like, hey, hear me out real quick. Just
We're gonna hit some gutturals real quick.
Oh man. So you're talking about like some of the inspirations being like Korn and Linkin Park. Oh,
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I was like, is it up there? I was like, I know it's up there. Just quickly, like, what do y'all think on like the Linkin Park coming back?
I'm not gonna say anything.
I don't know. I didn't really. I mean, to be honest, I listened to like a little bit of the song. My girlfriend listened to it more than I did. She didn't really like it either. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I heard a live. I didn't listen to the new song. I heard a live thing with the new chick. I don't think it sounds terrible, but I think people are more just focused on the Chester thing and just forget that there's like a rest of the band too. But I still want to listen to it, but I've just seen like the day that it came out, I guess, like that was just like all my feed was, and it just kind of like turned me off to it. I was like, oh, I'll deal with that later. But no. What did you think?
I was hyped for the band like itself. I'm like, oh, that's cool that they're like because Linkin Park was one of the reasons why I listened to anything with probably like any sort of screaming in it or heavy at all, like in that degree. And then I think before that was primarily listening to a lot of like hip hop stuff. So new metal just fit right the fuck in.
I feel like it's like that was like everybody's like gateway.
Very
like
much so.
Music.
And then I remember like I think when Chester passed, like I remember sitting there. I was at my job, and I was just like, oh, that sucks. It's just like it's not a big deal. And then like I just stood there thinking for a minute. I'm like, what that like gateway opening like opened up to me. I was like, oh shit, this is why I'm doing like what I do now. And then I realized I was crying. I'm like, oh fuck. Like, so it's a very big like.
I was just scared to be like disappointed. So I just haven't listened. We should listen to it whenever we.
I think if you'd have to not think about it as Linkin Park. That's for me. I'm like, oh, it's a song. You know, like this and that.
Sounds like Barnes and Noble music.
Like it's nothing crazy. It's
It sounds like Barnes and Noble's music.
Could definitely probably play it at Barnes and Noble. Nice. But I was like, cool. I was happy for the band to be able to come, like to be able to play again. But it's just like, it's not Linkin Park anymore. I don't think personally. I think it's not something new.
It's Mike Shinoda and like three of his friends.
You know what I mean? Like, because like the drummer didn't come back.
Nope.
And then Brad
Delson is not a part touring. Of it.
Like he's writing on it.
So there's no like original members in there?
There's three. Mike Shinoda, Brad Delson, and then the
Mr. Hahn.
Yeah. I think. Is that it? Maybe. But yeah, I think really, really they should have just started something new. But I don't know.
And then throw like a few Linkin Park songs in
maybe
there,
like when you're playing and then people are like more forgiving that way. It'd be like, oh, okay, maybe like you can play that, but
people
you're not Linkin Park.
Harsh. Like, that's what like, Like, I thought that they were getting like canceled for something. I didn't realize it was just a different vocalist.
Well, they did start that the next day. Immediately. So, it didn't last one day before they found out.
I saw they started digging up dirt. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's kind of fucked. But
which I'm like, wouldn't you?
She was a scientist. She was a Scientologist, which. Whatever, but she was like saying some shit about Danny Masterson and like backing him up, which is like just fucking weird. Yeah, that's just weird.
It's still kind of fresh for that guy too. Yeah. Like they were like removing shows off of like streaming services and stuff because of that too. And I was like, oh fuck. I thought because like he was going on this like whole like not guilty thing for a little bit, so I was like, well, we'll see what happens. But I guess it happened, and then they're taking shit off of it. I was like, man, I like fucking that 70s show. I was like, I don't give a shit about his personal life.
That is. I mean, in everything, like media and like music too. Like how many like bands like you have like, running into like that issue. I don't know. I mean, we don't have to dive into anything like that. I mean, we can't just like being able to like
turning into a canceled podcast.
Like, who else is canceled? Let's go down the list now.
Jesus.
How do we get canceled?
I was early reading somebody that got canceled like on the way here.
Really?
I was like, hey, do y'all know this guy?
None of us
canceled.
knew.
Yeah. I don't know him either, but I was hoping maybe somebody else did, so it'd be more funny. But
I'm usually pretty up and up with the social dramas that are going on, but I don't know who the fuck this dude is.
yeah.
Damn.
I don't either. I looked at
Figured
his
it.
Spotify. That's man.
I want the tea though.
Yeah,
we'll find-
I'm gonna have to read a little bit.
I got a Dropbox folder.
Jesus Christ.
It was just called Evidence.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was like, I got something to do on the way to Fort Worth. So,
Wait.
yeah, it's exciting.
No, maybe I know who that is.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
No, of this person.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's
Cool.
if not, then I got another one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Anyways, back to the important shit. So music. So this is have you guys done runs before? Like out of Austin?
No, we've never really done like a full like a string of shows, but we've played outside of Austin a few separate times. Like,
Okay.
Quite a few times. We play more outside of Austin than we do in Austin now.
Really?
Yeah, we're
Was that
trying to at least
just
yeah,
on purpose?
just to get out.
Gotcha.
Like, I mean, I feel like we need to just keep going and going, just to like stray away from just playing the same venue. Like, so otherwise, I feel like you just become irrelevant at that point because if you're just constantly there, it's like, oh, dog was at DGMA's that come and take it again. Like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but you know, I just don't want to disappear to everybody either.
How is
Especially-
the like Austin music scene?
it's good. I mean, Austin's like a real big death metal and fucking like metal, like real like thrash metal place. There's a pretty good like punk scene out there too, and the hardcore scene's pretty good out there as well. I mean, that's kind of like the stuff that I was playing before, like this band and like other bands that I was in. I mean, it's got a pretty good scene. It's a little bit interesting for like us, I guess, because like we're a weird amalgamation of like a few different things that are there. But we tend to do pretty good, you know, around there as well. You know, people come out for shows and, you know, they show out support. But yeah, we tend to do better outside of Austin, though, honestly. Like a lot more people kind of like fuck with what we're trying to do anyways. Especially like San Antonio, like Dallas, Fort Worth area seem to like us a lot. And Houston too.
Yeah.
Like all the big areas that
Yeah.
kind of like hit in Texas, they really like us. It seems to be the thing.
In the valley too.
Yeah, the Valley. Like we just went down and played in McAllen not that long ago. Shout out Grown.
Sick.
Yeah.
So sick.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. People are super supportive out there, so that was a great show.
Yeah, I've never played a bad show in the Valley. I've gone down there numerous times over the years since I've been playing music, and like, I've never played a bad show in the Valley. It's always been fun. And I was telling them before we went out there, and yeah, those kids came out, you know, and Christian and all them, but you know, he books down there, and he fucking put us on, and we played with this other band, Decoy from Louisiana, and they were sick too. Sorry. And yeah, no, those kids came out, and it was packed the fuck out. It was super fun. Bless you.
Yeah, I'm trying to
You get
talk.
two. No, but it was sick. And yeah, we're just trying to get out more. We're, you know, looking at trying to do something in February next year to get up to New York, hopefully.
Sick, okay.
Hit up some different states and different places on the way up, and then same thing on the way back. And, you know, get to some new faces and things like that. Because, you know, it's kind of like the main thing is like getting out there when we can.
Yeah.
Because as much as like, you know, the game's changed, it's not like being out on the road anymore to like get your name out there. You got to fucking run ads. You got to email people to be on playlists and stuff and all sorts of crazy shit now, way more than you had to before. And so like, you know, getting on the road is part of it. It helps to like get your name like in those areas. But you know, that's kind of like where we're at now. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the social media internet game of it all like has become a lot more important, but there's something to seeing a band live, even if it's for the first time. If like you fucking like kill it, like you make like real fans. Like online, like I run into so much music, and again, I'm sure part of the problem, but like I'll run into music and I'm like, this is really fucking good, but then like the next day I'll run into something that's really good too, and then I'm like, it's hard to keep up with a lot of shit. But like live, when I first like, if I witness like a band for the first time playing live, and then I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
is
then
this?
you're like, then you're
there,
there,
and I'm like, I'm done. I was like, I'm done. Like
Yeah.
they got me. Like they got me. Like it's such a good like personal way to do it, because it's you're experiencing it, and it's like your unique experience with like the band live, that I'm just like a super big like fan of that a lot more these days. is live shows is what genuinely probably win me over, like for your band.
Same.
Like for your bands. Like it's something else.
Same.
I've noticed a lot of like clickbait on like Instagram ads too. It's like they take like a really good part of a song and I'm like, dude, hell yeah, I fuck with this. And I like go look it up on Spotify and then I'm just disappointed. Like I was just like, damn it, they got me.
Got my ass.
Fucking the Nickelback thing. Like when they recorded that like hardcore little like intro and started like hyping up that Nickelback was coming back. And it was just a god awful song after that. Sounded like Knocked Loose or something on the preview, and then you're like, oh, that's not where it should have gone. But
I have seen a lot of like, which I think it's what people like I'm assuming when people reference this stuff as like a TikTok ban or a TikTok this and that or whatever, it's like people who write stuff for segments, you know what I mean? And it's just like this part that's good and everything else, or they build that and then they'll try to build a song around it if it gets enough hype and you can kind of see it, or I'm like, oh, everything else is kind of lazy like in this song. Or
I think a lot of it is the like social media and marketing takeover of music has gotten people to start thinking about music more as a product on the like mass level, and it's making people like approach new projects that they're doing in their local scenes as like okay, let's like throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And then like you'll have bands that will like write a bunch of different stuff and then they have one thing that pops off and then they're like, okay, we're gonna run with this.
This is what we're.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just like it's the music industry has just like developed into this different thing because you have to really 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 catch people and get them to, you have to be able to convert them is really what it comes down to. You have to be able to get these people out to shows and you have to be able to sell them t-shirts, and otherwise it's just like not sustainable at all.
I can't remember who the band was. I want to say it was Bad Omens, but a guy did one of the vocalists of whatever band, I think it was Bad Omens, did an interview where he basically said that that's what they did and then like blew up how they have recently, and that was just because they were kind of just releasing like whatever and just gonna see which one works, and then they ran with it. I feel, did y'all see that too? Oh shit,
I don't know if it was Bad Omens, but I mean I've definitely heard that before and I've seen it a lot. I think there's like every now and again there's like a band that has like very 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 intentional like artistic integrity, like Sleep Token, for example. Like they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly how they wanted to write the music, and they knew exactly what music they wanted to write, and it happened to blow up, right? And it's the same thing with like Linkin Park back in the day. Like if you listen to the old like Zero demos before Chester was even in the band, it was like the same songs. Like Mike Shinoda knew what he wanted to do, like exactly, and there was like a lot of intention behind it. And I think some of the best music happens that way, but I also think that some of the best music happens when people do like try to figure out what the big thing is. And the biggest thing that I can reference is Bring Me the Horizon, because they change their sound all the time. But I don't know if you fucking noticed, but every time they put new shit out, like 3 years later, every band sounds like what they put out 3 years ago. It's like the same, that they're just like super ahead of the curve. And it's like there's a lot of like marketing savvy that goes into that, with like knowing like what people want, you know, and you can like change stuff. And I think that you can still have artistic integrity and do that, and you can have artistic integrity and like do a very specific thing that you want to do and like do it exactly how you plan it out in your head. And
people always hate on it first too, and then
every time
everybody's like, it's just my taste, but like I actually liked the newer, like more mainstream sounding, like Bring Me the Horizon and stuff.
So good.
Everybody was talking shit whenever it first came out. Now it's like on all these like TikToks and stuff, and it blew up more than it did then, actually. But yeah, that always pisses me off because I guess I don't know, people just don't like change really. But yeah, it's always funny whenever you see people talking down on like bands making a change and then it blows up for them. It's like, well, they're making a lot of money and you aren't. So it's like, that always cracks me up.
The change thing is a real thing. Like when it's not what you're expecting and what's comfortable, like the immediate, I think, like reaction is to like,
it pisses people off. They wanted something like they've had, but
I mean, it keeps it interesting for that band, like to keep doing shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like if they want to write something new or different, like that's, I hope that's because like they want to try something new. They don't want to write the same record. But two, like most of the time you just have to give something like a few more listens and get comfortable with the change. And then you realize like, oh, this is actually really good. I do that a lot where I'll listen to first songs and I'm like, I don't like that at all. And I'm just like, cool. Like, I'll give it like another like day or a week and say, let it grow. Like, let it listen to it. Let me get comfortable with what this sound is. And a lot of times like I end up liking, like that's how I like a lot of like new things. But yeah, like the reaction to I mean, and that's happened like forever when bands have like changed like their sounds and stuff like that. And it's cool. Like you don't have to keep being a fan of like that, like newer.
Just listen to the old shit if you
like. You know what I mean? Yeah, that record's still there.
Or go listen to the million fucking bands that copy that sound 3 years later when it's popular again. Yeah, it's like you can get the same. I don't know. If you don't want to listen to something, don't listen to it. I mean, there's plenty of bands that I love and I hate their later records. Yeah. Can't stand them because I think they suck. But it's like if I want to go listen to Hybrid Theory Part 2, there's like a million fucking bands doing Hybrid Theory Part 2. Like I can get that somewhere else. I think that people like there's a lot of like weird emotional attachment in my opinion to certain things, and it's like, dude, they're people too. Like let them do their thing. You don't need to talk shit to these people because you don't like their new singer or their like new record. Just go like find something similar. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I say that so much, or I'm just like, yes, I say the phrase, "This isn't for me," like, and that's fine. Like, it doesn't mean like it sucks because I'm like,
that's always.
I'll say it.
I just have to be like, this isn't for me. Yeah, because like as much as like I can say like it sucks for me, you know what I mean? But like that, I guess just like the connotation behind like saying that, or like the power behind saying that is like, I don't know. I feel like it manifests itself a little bit when you like just talk shit. Like it's just like this negativity.
Well, not
everybody
has the same fucking taste, so like I'm just like that's not my thing.
Yeah. So like, but I like one thing because like on this like podcast, like I'll interview like a bunch of like bands and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, dude, like I support like all my friends. Like I don't like all the shit they do. Like, and that's fine. Like cool. We're real about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I go that's not my job to find like your fans. Like you're in charge of like finding the people who fuck with your music. Like who are going, again, we're talking about conversion. Like who are going to go to shows, who are going to buy like shirts, who are going to follow or expecting like your new music to come out. Like that's who you need to find. Not just people who are like, hey, I know you, I'm going to support you. That's important too. But the people who are going to carry like the music career or like whatever you want to do is going to be those people that genuinely like go to bat for you. Like who's actually like standing in line to go see you. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the interview, but yeah, my friend sent me a video just recently where they were talking about how record labels are viewing, and they need to like your numbers don't matter unless you can like have access to data of your like conversion. Like you can,
we
like,
were just talking about this.
We were talking about that on the way up.
It literally might be off of the same like because that like I think just like a day or two ago, but it was that. It's like you can you can have whatever million followers, but like if those people don't go to shows, like who cares? Like or if they're not buying anything, like, and that's the way that at least that's the way the label's looking at it.
Unless your goal is like to be like one of those internet famous bands or something, I guess.
Sure, I mean, it's definitely a lane because like you can be like octane core, pop metal, whatever, and like you don't have to make money by going on the road. Yeah. Like you can do other stuff. You can do sync, you can sell cool merch online. Like you don't have to be a live band. There's other avenues of doing it. We have just found, and I was surprised by this, that people like our music when they hear it, but when people come out to shows, they're always like, holy fuck, which is sick. I just didn't expect that.
I was like, holy fucking what way?
Like in a good way.
Holy shit, fuck, this sucks.
I mean, some people probably say that. We played in some weird shows with some weird bands. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like, that band fucking sucks. But
generally the response is
good, and we get it from weird shows too. Like one of the ones that I remember quite a bit was Of Sulfur and Signs of the Swarm. Yeah, we played with them and it went nuts. I was like, what the fuck? These fucking deathcore fans like fucking with our music. It's cool. So like we found out we do well in a live setting. But some bands don't need that.
I've even had like friends that have never seen us before, who saw us for the first time or whatever, like actually like people that don't like to give credit reach out to me and like tell me, it's like, damn, I was not expecting that from you guys. Like he said that, that the live thing really does it more than, just listening to it, I guess. But those people are more people that like to go to shows all the time and stuff like that. But it really surprised me because he kind of like hated on me for a little bit every time I would invite him to shows. He's like, no, I'm not going to that, blah, blah, blah. And then, like once he did, he was like, oh, fuck. He was like, you guys are actually really good. So, it meant a lot. Yeah.
Willing to admit it. Yes. Some of them will take it to the grave. Don't give you an inch. And there's a bunch of avenues. Like I said, I can talk about the ones that like, I'd be comfortable with, like, making sure a live show like is really good. But yeah, there's the avenue of just like, I can just keep this online and, like I said, do something else with it. Like I've seen like plenty of artists whenever like I venture out to look at like, how do like artists make money in like some weird unconventional ways where they like sing or stuff for like movies and TV and shit like that. That's all I do. Like, that I do.
YouTube,
I'm a musician.
Covers.
YouTube. Yeah.
Drum playthrough videos.
I just hate when someone's trying to do like a band or an artist and then they like covers take over their life and then that's all people want to hear.
Is there a specific band that you have in mind?
There's a bunch.
There's one I have in mind too.
There's Our Last Night. There's there's I think Loveless was one on TikTok, and then like a long time ago when
Speaking
YouTube
was canceled.
It's another one.
Shit.
I think the first one I remember seeing this is probably when YouTube was first starting, was a band called Boise Avenue or Boise Avenue.
Boise Avenue? I think I remember
it's like
that band.
This guy just playing acoustic covers.
Yeah.
Very cool. But like apparently, and then this was like, I didn't pay attention to any of this shit, but it was like, he's pushing like original music, but nobody, like, he's going to shows and playing full sets of like covers, like,
there's definitely a line, there's like a line that you kind of have to like decide, like, are you, and this is something that I ask myself a lot, because like, I have a lot of insecurities, and I mean, we were talking about like going to a producer, and I'm hesitant because I'm super insecure, and like I have a lot of like ego built up that I don't want to get crushed, and so there's like a lot of vulnerability. But I think like you have to decide, like, is the priority the music that you're writing, or and like everything else is a vehicle to continue to do that music, or is the music a vehicle for you to do the other thing? Like, are you chasing YouTube clout? Are you like trying to get ad revenue money? Are you trying to like sell merch and like be a merch company, and like the music is the vehicle, or is all of that other stuff the vehicle for the music? Yeah, that's like kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, the ego thing is a big, like, can be like a big hindrance, and I've seen like myself like have run into the issues with anything that I'm particularly like doing. I notice when I'm just like, no, I'll just do it like myself, and it's not because I think you can do it wrong. It's just because I'm like, if you take this from me, what do I have? And then when I catch myself thinking like that, I was like, I'm being a bitch. Like, like someone else like needs to. If someone else can do it better, they need to do it better, and that way I need to just worry about myself getting better. And especially like working with the team, like all the stuff that we do, like with Noise Ride and stuff like that, like I can't like think like that, because everybody has their own part that they're doing, but sometimes I help over there, they help me here, whatever it is, and it's a lot more fun like when you're able to share kind of that. But yeah, it definitely, like, I'll have to like catch myself a whole bunch of times and be like, yeah, there's people doing this shit like way better than I am, and I gotta be okay with that. But I am also like good with like the fact that like I keep getting better too, you know what I mean? Like it's just like forgetting like that and being able to take it, and you make, again, collaborative efforts turn out some really cool shit, like a lot of like time. So especially like with producers, with like anything, like with like content creation, all that stuff, like it definitely helps out a lot. So I definitely like try to encourage collaborations as much as possible. Again, just even for perspective reasons. I talk a lot about sitting in on like people's just like writing sessions or their like, studio times, and it's very interesting to see like, oh, you write that way, or you know, this is how you record, that's your structure, your order, your whatever workflow. And again, you bring some of those elements to your band, to the way you do stuff.
Yeah, you can get new ideas too, and try different angles.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. I mean, we did some weird shit for the other projects, like random, and we brought a lot of that in.
Brought some of that weird shit this way. Okay, so you just y'all just released a new song. Last week, right?
Last Tuesday. Yeah, last Tuesday.
Okay. Is this part of like a bigger project, or was it just like some stuff you have like in the back catalog?
It's so. I personally, like, I think it's everybody's kind of goal too, is like we want to put out like a full EP of everything, like include these 3 songs that we've done, Rot With Me, Destroy Boy, and the new one, Fall Out of My Jaw. But we want to put together another like 4 or 5 more full songs, so we get like a full EP, like a full 7-song out, 7-6-song EP.
Okay.
And not just because, at least for me personally, like, whenever I'm writing stuff, I want to be able to like put out like a full thing eventually, and they all kind of flow together. And I think that's something that's like missing. Like y'all were just talking about not that long ago about like people putting out music segmented to keep people's attention for that fucking 6-10 seconds that they do it.
Yep.
But and
like a theme to it.
Yeah, like because people don't listen to. A lot of times they don't listen to full EPs anymore. It's like, oh, I got a single, and like you'll have bands like drop a single. They'll drop a new single, but then they just recycle the old single, and they keep doing that. And I understand that's part of the game too, but then you just have like a bunch of singles that don't really go anywhere with like this full catalog of work. It's just like a bunch of singles that mashed together on this EP. Like they're all great songs or whatever, but there's no like direction. It's like this one song I did this one song I did this one song I did this. And it don't really like flow. And I think like the whole like package of like building like a full thing is like our next step, at least, like we did with the Greatest of All Lost Causes EP. Like, yeah, some of the old songs were recycled, and like I helped rewrite certain parts or whatever, and then we did 3 new songs or 2 new songs, one of the 2. Okay.
I mean, I would count the stuff that we wrote after you joined new songs for that, but there was 2 songs on there that were older, but it was part of the theme of the EP, because it was. I think like artistic intention is like a big thing for us, and it kind of helps like drive us. So that EP was like a goodbye to the old name. Yeah. So it was like we had these songs that were older, I guess 3, because we had 3 songs that we brought over. We had songs that we redid that we wanted to like continue with us, and that was it was a part of it. It was kind of like a metaphor for a funeral procession, just like R.I.P. the old shit. This is the new hotness, So now it's like, when we're talking about like playlisting and like even getting down to like top lines, or like how we're going about putting like even like just down to the riffs together, it's like what's the idea? Right, and right now it's faster and heavier.
Yeah, I think that comes from a place of like listening to, the way a lot of people were like, singles are the way to go, put out a single every 2 months, whatever.
I hate it.
But the only way I've seen that work is if like they are part of an album already, and it's just like you're releasing songs at a time. And I'll bring up I think Sleep Token with this album, if I remember correctly, put out like a song every 2 weeks for the first like 4.
Yeah, I mean they waterfalled the whole thing.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, that worked, but there was already a cohesive project together. Now the way they released Sundowning, I hate it. Like they released a song every 2 weeks until it was done. So to me, that album feels like an album full of singles. Like to me, because I heard everything. I didn't get.
You didn't get to experience it all for the first time.
Yeah. which is kind of weird, and it might just be like a way that I think now, because even like with movies and stuff like that, like I'll watch maybe one trailer and then shut everything else out. Like if I'm interested,
I'll only do 30 seconds, if that.
Dude, I've just seen like so many shit like in the actual trailer. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's the movie is not as fun anymore.
You've seen the whole movie?
Yeah, I hate it. But same thing with like albums. Like if I hear like everything up front, like I like experiencing the full thing as a whole. Yeah.
Did you used to pirate music and like put it on your iPod back in the day?
No.
Okay, so
of course,
yeah. So like,
allegedly,
I feel like we came up in the like you go like you find a thing, you find a song that you like, and then you either like search up the album name Mediafire and like you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, bro. And then you like load that shit onto your iPod and then you listen to albums.
Yeah.
You know, that's like how that's at least how I like experience
every time I hear
music.
a single that I like, I want to hear like
the
rest of it.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, a lot of bands are only doing singles. And then it's like one of those things like what was that show called You that like it gave off so much stuff, like it got so much hype, everybody really liked it, and they took so fucking long to release another season that everybody forgot about it, and then nobody cares about it anymore. So like that's how I feel how it is with music. Like the way that social media has gotten everybody, like everybody's attention span is shit. Yeah. So it's like I feel like you need to give more out now than just
never before. Yeah, because when you're, and I think for a smaller artist, it is important to release music in between, because especially if it takes just as long, because like if you're an established artist, like people are waiting for your album like anyways already, and when you're newer, like people, even if you release the whole album, like most of the time you get a good solid like week to 2 weeks where people are still like remember back,
and
then
keep
they're
things in the chamber, like
like you gotta and it sucks. It's really hard because you work so fucking hard on something and it's like, where is it? Like, you know what I mean, so that's why like now it's a whole, you know, building to like how are you releasing it, like what are you releasing with it, like what are you doing, like these type of videos, like it used to be just like a music video, lyric video, you're good to go, you know what I mean? But now it's like you need so many pieces of content per like track or whatever to do, and it's very stressful. But I think bands that have found like ways to do fun things with their stuff, like who do I love seeing? Oh, Bill Murray, like their social media is fucking bonkers. But it's so stupid that it works, you know what I mean? But I'm sure like that's like his meme fuckery that he normally does, like, you know what I mean? So it literally just involves it into his music. So I'm like finding ways, like what do you normally do? What do you enjoy consuming? And use that for like your music, you know, what is actually interesting for you, because you can tell when you try to force shit, or you try to just do the trends. Yeah, you do like the trends, or you do this and that. I'm like, bro, who's doing this? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it involves a lot more. But yeah, listening to albums as a whole is super fun, even EPs. But yeah, I've had a lot of bands where I'm really excited because I hear like one song and I'm like, I'm gonna immediately, like if it's an EP or an album, like I'm gonna listen to all this, and then there's just like one song, or there's like 2 or 3, and then they've been a band for like, you know, 2 years or something, and I'm like, oh no, like I need
where's
like
the rest?
More, like there's gotta be something to pull on that. But that's that. I feel like that's my little boomerang about like albums. But
I don't know, maybe it's different for Gen Z because like it's the like playlist culture, I guess, is like, I mean, I don't fucking listen to albums anymore except for like the ones that I already listen to, you know. So it's like now I just go like I'll listen to a song here and there, and then like Spotify just makes playlists that I listen to, and I'm like, oh, this is a cool song from this playlist, I'm gonna save this, and then it's just like an algorithm now. So like I get it. I think that I just am personally of the opinion that when you go into a body of work with intention behind it, it turns out better. Yeah. With purpose, like I said, if it feels like this song was here for a reason, not just the thing that I used to hear a lot is like, oh, this one's just filler, and I'm like, oh, why put it in if you feel that way? Like, if you really feel that it's just filler. Now there's some stuff where you're just like, okay, like it's adding
I don't know, so atmospheric or something's instrumental or something like in the middle, you know, to add again. But if there's purpose behind that, that's one thing. But if something feels like you just put it in here because you had it lying around,
I mean, shit. Now we're talking about label contracts, and you gotta give us 12 songs. Start filling it up with bullshit, and really, you only have a 7-song EP, and you got like fucking 5 little beats going on in your shit because you gotta fulfill a contract.
Fulfill the contract. I've definitely seen that a lot too. You know, more power to it. Get out of that contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People going back and recording their shit again is kind of pretty interesting. It's fun. I think it's funny. So, I'm like, good. Like, get your fucking money that you should have gotten paid.
Shout out Frank Ocean. Fucking hacked the music industry.
That was fucking good. God,
that was crazy.
Yeah, it's massive. They're playing checkers, dude. Well, he's playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's cool. So you guys are working in music, hopefully, an entire project coming up. The Texas Run starts today, Restless in Texas at Haltom Theater. I mean, this is going to be out after the fact. But where are you guys going after that? It's
Houston. Here, Houston, Austin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were going to play San Antonio yesterday, but that got canceled.
Yeah. And then, after this, so depending on when this comes out, we're actually in Austin playing with Unity, October 20th, too.
Sick.
Yeah,
okay.
so that'll be a good one.
Unity, Soulkeeper, and Silly Goose.
Nice.
I think Mugshot's on.
Yeah. Is Mugshot on y'all's date? I know they're only on selective dates, right?
I think they're on our date, too. I can't remember. I'd have to look at the flyer. But it's for Austin support. It's us and then another band, Houses We Die In, too.
I've heard a lot about them.
The
guys in Postal, like,
very good.
Yeah, they're cool guys.
Sick, badass. Yeah, this should be out before that. Not this trilogy. But but yeah, like I know we have to get headed. All of us go head out of the show. But yeah. Thank you guys for making the time today and stopping by.
It's fun.
If you guys ever need help with promoting anything, send it our way, and we'll try to help as much as we can. We definitely love the band. I've just recently started listening to you guys, and the newer stuff is what I'm definitely like a huge fan of, and I was taken back. But I'm excited to see it live for the first time today because I haven't seen it live. So
we are too.
Hopefully the holy fuck that I say is the good one. But
hopefully
we'll find out.
We'll just turn our cabs up louder. Just
can't tell what's going on.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
You don't need to hear anything else. You just hear the tone.
Well, thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. This has been episode 122 with DGMA, aka Dogma, aka just show up to a fucking show and buy a shirt.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. He's watching. We'll see you next time.
Sounds and breakdowns.